Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. It must have been heartbreaking to be at the scene and also just get to really just interact with families and some of those who would have potentially been collecting some of their belongings.
Thank you very much, Mashwana. Good afternoon to you and the viewers. Indeed, it was a very difficult day, and on behalf of the Minister of Transport, Minister Creasy, the department and the Ministry, want to convey our condolences to the families who are bereaved during this very difficult time, particularly because it is learners, and of course, when we arrived at the scene, the numbers were revised upwards from 5 to 6 learners who are now deceased. 5 learners of the 19 who were hospitalized have been released from hospital and are recuperating at home, and 4 were being transferred from the Middelburg hospital to Mpumalanga for further high care and further tests and observations which needed to be done. As the department, we remain fundamentally concerned, of course, about the nature of the driving behavior on the roads, and this is one of the key focus areas for this term, to deal with behavioral change and attitude and respect for the rules of the road. We're losing 12,000 lives every year on our roads on average, and the economy is bleeding some 19 billion rands because of accidents. And so we do need to do everything in our powers to make sure that we turn the tide around towards responsible driving and adherence to the rules of the road.
Yeah.
This matter, of course, as the Minister of Basic Education was in that insert, is one which needs the collaborative efforts between the Department of Transport and the Department of Basic Education through the National Interdepartmental Committee, which is responsible for the scholar transport.
Yeah.
We at Transport are looking at policy review in this regard to make sure that we tighten up on the requirements which govern the space, and one which make people eligible to be service providers insofar as the school of transport is concerned. And it also goes to stricter guidelines and regulations. And so we believe that there is merit to this program. It's currently transporting some 700,000 plus learners on every school day, and we do need to therefore move with speed to make sure that a policy perspective we fix it. Maybe the final point I'd like to make this morning.
Okay, briefly, yeah.
Yes, is that we are expecting a report from the RTMC tomorrow, which is investigating this matter. But because it happened on a railway line, we have brought in the railway safety regulator as the lead investigator, and they will have a preliminary report in 48 hours, which will then guide the SAPS investigations and the NPA processes where prosecutions need to take place.
So while these reports are being compiled as investigations continue, we are hearing there, as I was listening to Nhlamulo speaking to the Basic Education Minister, that the driver may have been under the influence, and some of the learners there also describing what they would be witnessing over time, particularly with this driver. Of course, these are claims, but certainly concerning.
Yes, they are, and we have directed that the investigators follow them up so that the report can be comprehensive enough, because what we want is successful prosecutions and consequence management on this matter so that we can restore the collective integrity and credibility of the scholar transport program. What we has been confirmed is that the driver is under police custody, and we would imagine that the investigation in the medical space will, amongst others, pursue that allegation. And we are calling on the SABC to actually engage with the learners so that they can be in a position to give an accurate account and witness testimony which will assist in this investigation.
So when do we get the report from the RTMC as well as the rail safety regulator?
The RTMC will provide a preliminary report tomorrow, and we should get the RSR preliminary report within 48 hours, and so tentatively by Saturday we should have it. But I want to stress, of course, these are preliminary reports which will give direction and guidance to the investigation moving forward. There is a collaborative work that is being done by our department's entities, the SABC and Transnet, because they are a party to this. And when we left the scene, they were continuing with the investigation, and Transnet was cooperating with them. And we are quite hopeful that the speed and urgency with which they are moving will assist us to arrive at a speedy conclusion of this matter.
All right, let's hear then what the RTMC says in its initial report, as well as the rail safety regulator. What do they say? Here are some of the preliminary causes. But thank you so much for your time this afternoon. That was Mpumalanga, the Deputy Transport Minister.